What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the data points, what's moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor is up 0.2%, 518 the high, 495 the low. So it did have a nice push higher. First thing, a lot of that had to do with shorts returning, but at the peak, they were up about 4.1%, but unfortunately, no different than the last several trading days. Opendoor is just getting completely overlooked by Wall Street, which is rather annoying only because the data that did come out should easily push Opendoor much higher than the broader market. So we did have mortgage applications that came in at 11%. Previous was 0.4. Aside from that, mortgage market index 377, previous was 340. ADP employment that came in at 63,000, forecast of 19. So all of this data right here is pushing the broader market higher, and a lot of this very much directly correlated with Opendoor's business. So no different than the last several trading days, just Opendoor is getting overlooked. There was also this that did come out early this morning. So billionaire Tesla whale buys 1 million Nvidia shares to support nervous market, which is rather comical because that really does put it in context on how unjustified the recent sell-off, not just with Opendoor, but across the board, was. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. As far as official news, there has been nothing from Opendoor, no speculative things being kind of mentioned by Kaz since my last video. There was a 144 that was submitted after hours yesterday, which did signal that you had this officer right here selling 10,000 shares. So not necessarily the greatest, and even I did bring up in my Opendoor video yesterday, it'd be advantageous for Kaz, which I know he did recently buy in November, but given where Opendoor is at and the potential down the line, it would be advantageous for Kaz to buy some actual stock using transaction code P, meaning his own money, similar to other CEOs and directors across the board. But nonetheless, that's just maybe a pipe dream possibly, but still, this is one thing that the market is kind of digesting as well. So a recent officer transaction, and it wasn't for tax purposes, so that's not the kind of basis of why this was done. But looking at shorts are returning 335,000 shares. 16.1% of the free float is being shorted. Works it to be 135 million shares overall being shorted. DTC 2.4 or 2.54 days does really signal that shorts are relatively overextended still, but it's very interesting to see, even looking at this teal line right here, shorts are doing absolutely nothing today. So simply it is just, for whatever reason, institutions and hedge funds, because on the dark pool we see a lot of hold numbers, that is selling Opendoor. So from what I can see, based on a lot of the kind of highlights from today, data points, there should be no main reason why hedge funds would be selling Opendoor. So let me know your viewpoint on that, and if there is something that did come out that I'm not really aware of that would justify why Opendoor is kind of the target of all that. So let me know your viewpoint. On the secondary market, we see two transactions, both of which are buys, one for 204,000, the other one being for 573. So again, something to keep in mind. So smaller kind of transactions occurring, or some institutional transactions. As far as the options, 2.6 million in calls, 206 in puts. 57% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. So this really does also hit home about the sentiment. It's just, you have very much a lot of orientation towards bearishness, whereas a lot of stocks that I've generally looked at so far today are very bullish. So something is happening behind the scenes with Opendoor. I just can't really put my finger on it, and as far as I'm aware, that, like I said, there has been nothing really negative coming out to kind of hit Opendoor. But nonetheless, from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around 550, so still a good amount of optimism. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 450, so definitely a little bit more of a back and forth. Right now with it at 499, it is trading between this pivot and this S1, so 458 is going to be a strong support. I'm looking at the 1-day chart, so these are very strong support and resistance points. 509 followed by 560 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So as well, that could be one attributing factor why maybe some institutions are selling Opendoor, because based on the technicals, it did bounce off of a key resistance level, so it didn't really have enough to get above that. Maybe that could be one main reason why. But aside from that, it's just wedge bound between that 10 and 200-day moving average. So most likely in the next couple of days, we are going to see a pinch, either a very aggressive push higher or a very aggressive push kind of higher or lower. So it's going to be a fun time. I know I've mentioned this in the past. Opendoor, best thing that you can do is just dollar cost average. I think over the last several trading days, it really does put it in perspective on how kind of just the price action just does whatever the hell it wants sometimes. But looking at stochastic RSI, it is at 75, so a little bit overdone based on that. So some negativity in the broader market could cause some consolidation. But aside from that, there hasn't been any new analyst ratings, no articles of any substance kind of coming out. So it's just at the mercy of the broader market. So let me know your thoughts on Opendoor. Are you buying? Are you selling? What are you generally doing? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.